So on Blitzer 61B, that would be our evens, I'm going to do number 38 with Gauss-Jordan elimination. So this is our original system, and I need to go ahead and make it into an augmented matrix. So remember, Gauss-Jordan is the one where we only have zeros and ones. So we're not using back substitution. So it does take like another round of canceling things. So let's just double check, make sure I got everything written down correctly. We really don't want to make a mistake in the first step. So I'm always going from left to right, looking at my columns. And so I know in this top row, I'm going to have a 1 and then some zeros. And I know it's not a 1 right now, but I don't worry about that. So what I really need is for these to be zeros. I don't want there to be any X on our second row or third row. And I guess in this case, it's really A. So I'm going to take row 2. And it's kind of obvious I'd want to put it with row 3. So row 2 plus -2 row 3. And that's going to give me, let's see, 2, 3, -5, 1, -2, 4, -6, 8. And let's go ahead and add those. I picked this problem because there's some bigger numbers in it. So you can see we've got a 7, which might be a little bit scary right off the bat, but we'll still be able to do it. And then in my third row, I want to cancel a 1. So I'm going to have to multiply it by something. And I can't use, I've already used row 2 and row 3. So I'm going to have to, I can't use row 2 and row 3 again. I'm going to have to use row 3 and row 1. So I'm going to have to take row 1 and then I'm going to have to add -3 times row 3. So let's go ahead and do that. And the reason we're using the Blitzer textbook is even though the numbers look kind of scary right now, they're not nearly as bad as the other book. All right, so we got a -10 there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my system. So after I cancel out both of those things I said I was going to cancel, and I get those zeros, that's when we have to rewrite. So let's see, 0, 7, -11, 9. Okay, so it looks good so far. So now, because I am doing Gauss-Jordan, instead of just trying to cancel this number right here and get rid of that, I need to get rid of this one as well. So Gauss-Jordan, I want only ones and zeros, and we don't worry about the ones right now. What I'm looking for is something only where A goes, and then B and C should be 0. In my second row, only something where B goes, and C should be 0. And in my last row, I only want a number over here. So my A and my B would be 0. So we're looking for that like diagonal of ones is what we're after. So I'm going to go ahead and move my paper here. And I'm going to take my first one. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to multiply it by 7, right? All the other ones have 7. So I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to do -7 times row 1. And then I'm going to add row 2. So let's see, -7 would be -21. So at least that one was easy to multiply. And then we'll go ahead and add those together. All right, and so now we have something where A is, but B is a 0. That's exactly what we wanted. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at our row 3. And I'm going to take row 3 and add negative row 2. So my row 3, 0, 7, -10, 12. And then when I make my middle one, just changing my signs on row 2. And we'll go ahead and add those. Oh, and this is nice. I'm getting a 1 here. So that's pretty cool. Right away, I am getting my row 3. Okay, so now I need to rewrite my matrix again. So I think I'm going to go over here. So I'm not really going back up to the top of my paper, but I'm trying to keep everything on here in one spot. So my new row 1 is this. And let's see, my second row I didn't change. And I got my last row. So really, because we're looking at 3 columns, it takes us like 3 stages to go through this. So now I'm looking in my first column, and believe it or not, the negative 21 is okay there for now. We don't want to take care of that until the very end. My middle column's perfect because I've got a 0 and a number and a 0. It's my last column. So I need to worry about the negative 4 and the negative 11. So let's go ahead and figure out how to do that. So I'm going to take row 1, and I'm going to add 4 times row 3. So we pretty much just have to take all of these and match them with row 3, because row 3 has the least number of numbers in it. And if I match it, if I took like row 1 and row 2, I'd end up getting a number in the middle column, and I really don't want that. So let's go ahead and take row 1. And then I'm going to add 4 times row 3, so I'll have a 4 and a 12. And when I add these, I nicely get something now that I can multiply by negative 121st, so that my first number is a 1. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for not really worrying about that being a 1 until the very end. And again, that's why we're using this textbook, because we end up with some stuff that's pretty nice and divisible. So now I got to look at the middle row. So I'm looking at row 2, and we're going to have to take row 2 and add 11 times row 3. So let's do that. And then we'll go ahead and add. And again, we can divide through by 7 or multiply by 1/7. Okay, so now I'm going to write down my system. So a lot of my students are just doing Gauss-Jordan Gaussian elimination with the back substitution. But that is not going to be an option for some of the things that we are learning on in the next section on Monday this year, but who knows what day it'll be on next year. So we really have to be careful about only learning one method. So I have A, B, and C. I still am going to write them as a triple in alphabetical order. And this was number 38.